Hey besties! Welcome to another video. Today, we're diving into some of the most shocking and disturbing incidents caught on TikTok. Some of these are heartbreaking real-life tragedies, while others are strange internet legends that spread like wildfire. Either way, they'll definitely leave you with chills. Before we begin, if you love your mom, hit that subscribe button with the bell on and smash the like button. Alright, let's get into it.
Explaining Incidents, Part 9.
The cake incident.
This incident happened in March 2024. A family ordered the cake from the bakery called Kenha Bakery. Once the cake arrived, exactly at her birthday, after this she began to cut the cake at 7 p.m. and it was recorded. The girl's name is Manvi. She was 10 years old until a cake took her life. She and her family then began to consume the cake. Later then, she and her family become very sick. Manvi and also her sister vomited with dehydration and dryless tongue. She drank water before going to sleep, but it was her last day sleeping. Around m at night, her family rushed her to the hospital, but she later passed away. Rest in peace, Manvi and her sister. That's all, and stay safe.
This one is honestly devastating. Imagine being just 10 years old, celebrating your birthday surrounded by family, cutting your cake, and then something as simple as eating turns fatal. When I first heard this, it really struck me how fragile life can be. A birthday is supposed to be a day of joy, laughter, and family. But here, it turned into the last memory for this little girl. The fact that her sister also passed away makes it even more heartbreaking. 2 young lives cut short in one night. It also makes you realize how much we take food safety for granted. We order from bakeries or restaurants without thinking twice, but sometimes negligence or contamination can have irreversible consequences. It reminds me of stories where mass food poisonings happened at weddings or schools. Something so ordinary can suddenly become deadly. Rest in peace, Manvi and her sister. Their story is a painful reminder that life is unpredictable, and we should never take even small moments of happiness for granted. Now, if you thought that was tragic, the next story was a global event that shook the entire world, especially the music community.
Let's talk about the Ariana Grande concert incident. On May 22nd of 2017, Ariana Grande was performing at a concert in the Manchester Arena in England. The set was amazing and there was 14,000 people in the audience and everybody was having a good time. But things later took a dark turn. 2 men planned to attack Ariana Grande's young fan base. One of the men brought a large backpack that was full of large amounts of explosives. Then once he was inside the venue and he was around her young fans, the explosives in the backpack went off. This caused over 1,000 injuries and 22 deaths, and the man who had backpack also lost his life. The other man was his brother, and he was caught and got sentenced to 55 years behind bars. Ariana was devastated and traumatized, but she helped the people who were injured and visited them in the hospital. Stay safe.
This one is very personal to a lot of people. I remember when the news first broke in 2017, it didn't even feel real. A concert is supposed to be one of the safest and happiest places you can be. You're surrounded by fans, music, joy, and in 1 second, that joy turns into chaos. Over 1,000 people were injured and 22 lost their lives, many of them just kids. And what's even more heartbreaking is knowing that they were Ariana's fans, people who just wanted to enjoy a night out. One thing that really stood out to me is Ariana herself. She was devastated, traumatized, and yet she still made the effort to visit the victims in the hospital, to support their families, and even hold a benefit concert afterward. That shows real humanity and strength, despite the pain she went through. This story really shows the dark side of the world we live in, where even something as innocent as a pop concert can be turned into a target for violence. It's a reminder to cherish every moment, because sometimes we don't realize how quickly things can change. From a real-world tragedy, let's move into something very different. An urban legend tied to a seemingly innocent kids game.
Let's talk about October 12th, 1999 incident. I don't know if that information is true, but I will tell you what the information I got. This glitch is in the game Talking Tom, so let's start. This glitch only happens in versions 1.5 or 1.2. This incident was in 2015, and the only way for the glitch to happen is putting the birthday October 12th, 1999. And if you see Tom's eyes popping out and a rectangle mouth, you need to delete the app in 10 seconds. If you don't, then a spam call will call you. And if you talk with the spam caller, for 10 minutes. It will find your IP and will get you. Don't be scared, BC. I've seen many videos do this, and it didn't work.
Talking Tom. Honestly, this app was everywhere at one point. It was one of those silly games kids loved because the cat would repeat whatever you said in a funny voice. But the fact that there are creepy stories tied to it doesn't surprise me. The internet has a way of turning even harmless things into horror legends. The glitch they mention, where Tom's eyes pop out and his mouth turns into some rectangle, sounds like something straight out of a creepypasta. And the part about entering a specific birthday, October 12th, 1999, adds to that classic urban legend vibe. It's oddly specific, which makes people wonder, what if it's true? Now, do I personally think it's real? Probably not. But what makes legends like this stick is that kids test them. They spread videos online claiming it happened, and that fuels the myth. The part about a spam caller finding your IP if you don't delete the app in time, that's basically the modern version of those chain emails from the early 2000s where they'd say, forward this or something bad will happen. But here's the scary part. Even if it's not true, the idea of your game spying on you, tracking you, or being cursed, that's enough to make kids panic. And that's why these legends survive. From creepy game glitches, let's go back to a real-life event. One of the most disturbing accident videos ever recorded.
Let's talk about
Face split incident.
the face split incident took place in Spain back in 2009. It all started when two brothers were swimming in the ocean and decided to jump off a cliff. The first brother jumped perfectly and landed safely in the water, without injuries. Then it was the second brother's turn. He was ready to jump, but when he did, he landed on a concrete, splitting his face open. He then fell into the water. As he floated, his head was completely covered in blood, staining the water around him red. He was rushed to the hospital, and the doctors tried everything to save him, but he sadly died. There's a video of the incident, but I'd rather not watch it. It's too disturbing. Stay safe.
This is one of those infamous internet shock videos, and honestly, even just the description is enough. Two brothers cliff jumping. Something so many people do for fun, for adrenaline, but one miscalculation, and it ends in tragedy. The image of his head splitting open and the water turning red is horrifying. And yeah, there is a video of it, but trust me, it's one of those things you can't unsee. Once it's burned into your memory, it's there forever. This is also why people need to respect nature and dangerous stunts. Cliff diving looks fun in videos, but in reality, one wrong move, one slip, and it's all over. The sad part is that this wasn't even reckless. He was just doing what his brother did, and fate decided otherwise. Sometimes that's the scariest part, that tragedy doesn't always come from being careless, but from bad luck. And finally, we move to one of the most infamous shock videos in internet history. If you know, you know.
Explaining videos, part 1. One man, one jar. The video starts off with a naked man and a jar. After that, the man starts to sit in the jar and put it in his eek. The jar cracks and you can see a lot of blood. And that's where the video concludes. Apparently, the man went to work instead of going to the doctor. Sorry if this was short. I'll post another one later.
This one is legendary in the worst way possible. If you've been on the internet long enough, you've at least heard whispers of one man, one jar. And let me tell you, it's exactly as horrifying as it sounds. Without going into too much detail, the video involves a man, a glass jar, and let's just say things go horribly wrong. The jar shatters inside him, and what follows is both disturbing and painful to even think about. The part that always blows my mind is that, according to the story, he didn't even go to the hospital right away. Instead, he just went to work. That's almost as shocking as the video itself. This video has become one of those infamous shock legends from the early internet era. It's the kind of thing people dared their friends to watch, knowing it would scar them for life. And that's it for today's video. These stories really cover everything, from heartbreaking family tragedies, to terrorist attacks, to creepy myths and disturbing internet legends. Each one leaves a mark in its own way. Which of these stuck with you the most? Let me know down in the comments. I read every single one. And of course, don't forget, if you liked the video and want me to do more, please subscribe with all notifications and leave a like. Thank you, and see you in the next one.